Hey YouTube, this is J at 101 and today I'm going to do something completely different from what I normally do. And as you know, what I normally do is just make gaming videos and talk about random shit while I do so. Today I'm going to talk about random shit, but instead there's not going to be gaming video accompanying it. No, because as many of you know, and if you're my friends from school who support this channel, or if you've just seen some of my videos, you probably know that I'm like one of the biggest Skyrim fans ever. It's like the freaking best game on my bloody computer, and I've had it for like years and years, and I still play it constantly. And one thing that keeps me attentive to the game and make me love it constantly and never like stop loving it is just how rich the lore is, and not just for Skyrim but for the whole of the Elder Scrolls series and the universe that it's set in, which is Tamriel. That's what I want to try and talk about. The lore of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Now, I'm going to be the first to say that I haven't played every Elder Scrolls game. As a matter of fact, I've only played Skyrim, but I have a deep love and respect for the past games, even though I haven't played them. I want to play them, but I just either don't want to spend the money on them because I'm really lazy and somewhat broke, and just because I don't know, just don't question it. Anyway, what I want to do, make a little bit of a series about lore. And what I do in this series is I'm going to talk about the lore of whatever I decide to talk about. This episode, I want to kind of start from the beginning of Skyrim, right? The very first sequence at Helgen. You're about to get killed, and what happens? Old Alduin shows up and ruins the party. Now, a lot of people just take that at face value and continue on their game because that's the first part. That's basically just your tutorial. No one really cares. But why exactly did Alduin attack Helgen in the first place? I saw a thread on a forum page on some website before, which actually got me thinking about this idea, and quite frankly I didn't agree with most of their theories, because they all suggested that seeing as Alduin was away from the world for a while, as soon as he got projected back into Mundus, which is the living plane for mortals basically, he was confused as to where he was and just attacked the nearest village or caravan which had people in it because he didn't know where his head was at. I say no to that theory, because when in the first era, I'm pretty sure it's the first era, just after the Merethic era, because that's when the war with the Nords and the... Anyway, that's saved for another time. Near the end of the first era, and the Dragon War was happening between the ancient Nords and the dragons, and the ancient Nord heroes, can't remember the names because I haven't played that quest in ages. Anyway, they use an Elder Scroll to send Alduin forth in time, and he doesn't arrive until 3 eras later, the 201st year of the 4th era, which is the year you play in Skyrim, I guess, and he lands right outside of Helgen. He could have landed further away actually and flown to Helgen, but the general theory is that he came back just outside of Helgen, flew in and started attacking. But they all suggested that Alduin had no idea what he was doing when he came back. Whereas if you've played the Dragonborn questline, the DLC, sorry, and you go to Apocrypha, which is a completely different realm to Mundus, because Daedric princes don't really assimilate on Mundus often, and Hermaeus Mora tends to reside in Apocrypha almost all the time. So that's his realm, that's not Mundus at all, whereas Miraak is in that realm there, and he constantly tells Dragonborn about his plans to go back to Solstheim, conquer it, and then continue with the rest of Tamriel. So his mind, and his knowledge of realm he's in, is still intact. So how does that explain Alduin not knowing what was going on while he wasn't on Mundus? I don't think it does. So my theory is this. Obviously, when he got sent forth in time, it's not just basic time travel where he's there and then lots of time goes past real quickly and then he's all of a sudden here. No. What happens is he gets sent forth and then everyone else on Mundus has to live out those 3 eras until the very day that he comes back. And what is he doing while that's happening? He's probably just floating through a rip or a tear, something in the space-time continuum. I'm getting really bloody Back to the Future-y and scientific on this shit now. Probably doesn't apply to Skyrim, but just imagine the space-time continuum of Tamriel, right? Just kind of that kind of thing is what we're trying to go for here. Just try and picture that. That's what we're kind of talking about. So while his body is not really assimilated anywhere, his mind would still be traveling through that space. All the while, probably thinking about his plans to come back and take revenge on mortals for sending him away when he was just about to conquer them. So what does he do? He comes back into Mundus in Helgen, probably senses the Dragonborn's presence, because even though he has no idea who the Dragonborn is, he still singles you out when you're up on the third of the world. He knows you're the Dragonborn, but he doesn't he hasn't had anyone tell him that. He just kind of knows. So when he comes back into Helgen, he'd be a little bit dazed because he hasn't been on a physical plane for a long time. So he flies around a little bit. He senses a presence nearby of extreme power, almost matched to his. Looks around, he can't see any dragons anywhere, so must be a Dragonborn, right? Or at least someone who has the ability to use dragon shouts. So what does he do? He flies towards that presence, sees a little town, obviously assumes it must be here because the presence is extremely strong. And since he doesn't know who exactly the Dragonborn is, he tortures the entire village, killing everyone. Little does he know that everyone did not die and the Dragonborn escaped. But that is essentially my theory on how and why Alduin attacked Helgen at the time he did. And as for the part where the Dragonborn is there at the exact same time, I can't really explain that. It's just a really awful coincidence, and obviously they had to make that happen because it just sets up the plot for the game. It's can't really be explained lore-wise. It's just that it had to happen for the game to work. So yeah, I actually think that's actually everything, because there's nothing else I can really go into more detail on. And yeah, that's enough bloody lore for one day. You can tell I get into my really serious voice when I talk about a lore. It's just something I'm extremely passionate about. And in later episodes, if this becomes popular enough and my friends and that encourage me to and push me to make more episodes, I'm gonna try and focus on topics and things that aren't widely known or discussed or argued about with the lore. Like, a lot of people talk about the modern stuff and all the people and all the events that are happening currently and a couple of eras back and how everything started. But I kind of want to go away from Tamriel just a little bit. There's an episode I'm got an idea for later on. I really want to discuss the idea of the Saesi, which is a serpentine race. Actually, I'm not going to determine whether or not they're serpentine, because that is going to be discussed in the episode. So basically, they're a race from Akavir, which is a continent to the right of Tamriel, who barely anyone knows anything about. There's very little records of them. Everyone knows they exist, or most people know they exist, but no one knows what they're like or who they're like. Okay, that made absolutely no sense. That's going to be in a later episode, hopefully, if this is good, and I like doing them, because I actually really like doing them. And, yeah, my name's been Jarrett101. Thanks for listen to me ramble for 10 minutes about stuff that doesn't even exist. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed and watched up to this part, then congratulations, because most other people probably would have turned off by now. And, yeah, my name's been Jarrett101. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.